Welcome everyone to the startup pitch sessions. We have an incredible lineup of alternative protein startups from every area, from plant-based and fermentation all the way to cell agriculture and cell-based meat. We're so excited to welcome all these great startups here and looking forward to hearing their presentations. To start, we have Mark Arts from Green Food 50. Mark, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, and good day to all, and thanks, Ahmed, for the invitation. So yeah, Green Food 50, it's based in the Netherlands, and it's about quinoa ingredients. In fact, we are based at the Wageningen campus in the province of Gelderland, and our mission is to build a sustainable food system. And yeah, that in fact we do by ensuring that products can be tasty, affordable, sustainable, and healthy. And there we focus on quinoa, where we are a B2B leader in that area. If we look to our, let's say, track record so far, so we started 2014, we did a lot of R&D work in the first years, got also quite some recognition. And now during the past years, we have been building, in fact, the whole chain. So also by acquiring Dutch quinoa activities, so that we, in fact, work directly with growers up to the final ingredient. Okay, this is what you see here. It's a field of quinoa in the Netherlands. So yeah, okay, I think still for quite amazing to see that quinoa is growing in the Netherlands, but it's not only the Netherlands, it's all for Europe, also the US, for example, but also countries like Australia, Japan, New Zealand. So yeah, in short, it's getting more and more a global crop, also thanks to the activities in Wageningen done on a very intensive breeding program, making it possible to grow low saponin quinoa in areas outside the Andes. Okay, we are just in the middle of the harvest season. So what you see here is one of our growers harvesting. This is organic quinoa, harvesting the quinoa. And in fact, I can show you, you see it now on the picture, but here I can show you the plant. So hopefully you can see it a bit. This is after harvest, after they have been dried. But okay, then in fact it starts. So in fact, we have developed from the quinoa, we have developed a whole range of different ingredients. Which in fact then yeah, have all kind of benefits for producers of consumer goods. So in fact we focus on 4 areas. One side is the marketing aspects. I think yeah, needless to say that quinoa is a trendy ingredient. But okay, what we can also add to that is that because it's now possible to do it and grow it on a larger scale, to make also prices more affordable, but also many aspects like yeah, not adding any additives, so keeping it natural. Also gluten-free is of course an advantage, and we see more and more the demand for organic developing. Okay, nutritionally, quinoa is known, famous for its protein, but there are many other aspects because it's a pseudo cereal. So also you find if it's effective vegetable, so you find also large content of iron, phosphorus, magnesium, even calcium is there, unsaturated fatty acids, and also interesting in the light of obesitas, but also is that it has a high level of satisfaction, but also it has a low glycemic index, and that's of course important for diabetes. Most of our work we did on functional benefits because yeah, if you want to make a tasty product with a good structure, you have really to know well about the functional properties. So there we did a lot of work, and yeah, needless to say that yeah, for quality standards, yeah, you have to meet GFSI standards, although it's still a relatively new crop. Yeah, good, the whole value chain is now certified on a global FSSAI level. Okay, then of course question is what can you do? And yeah, in fact what you see here on this table, you see yeah, the possibilities are more or less endless. So everything on this table is prepared with yeah, the different quinoa ingredients you just saw before. And okay, there's still much more to come because we see, yeah, many customers are developing also new products. Other aspect, and that's the final slide, is that quinoa is also very complementary. It's a very specialistic and specific protein with a very good amino acid composition, 100% score, high digestibility, 92%. But what's interesting, it has a surplus of methionine and lysine, so you can very well combine it with other protein sources so that you have a complete profile in your end product. And here you see some examples where quinoa is compensating. In fact, if you look like pulses, they have lack of methionine, and quinoa can help to compensate that. Okay, there's a lot more to tell, but yeah, 5 minutes is a short time. So, but of course, you're most welcome to, you can follow us also on LinkedIn. We are also at the exhibitor place, and otherwise just reach out directly. And of course, I'm glad to take questions now.
Yeah. Thanks for your presentation, Mark. That was really interesting to learn about quinoa applications. One question that I was messaged right now was, how does quinoa compare to other proteins, plant-based protein sources?
In terms of yields, quality, protein quality?
I think the question implied protein quality.
Yeah, okay, then, in fact, if you look to the amino acid score, then it's 100% amino acid score. That's, yeah, in fact, why it's famous, that is so well balanced. Good, yeah, effective. I can just go back because, yeah, good, if you compare to animal sources, yeah, needless to say, per definition, they're 100% topped off, even if we talk about PDKs, because of course, yeah, you know, there is the new standard, the DIAS, which is in fact the new standard, but okay, often still is referred to PDKs. Yeah, good. And then you see here, yeah, in fact, you see a lineup of different other ingredients. So in fact, we based ourselves on FAO data because, of course, you can have all kind of alternative measurements. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, you have to choose one basis. So that's why we chose FAO data.
All right, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And thank you for your presentation, Mark. If we have more questions for your presentation, we can address. I think you just got to see the question actually right now. If you're still open for one more question, Mark, can other plant proteins not be used in a complementary approach too, from a nutritional perspective? Why is quinoa better than other plant proteins to combine with?
That's a good question. Yeah, of course, you have each time to look in more detail to the amino acid profile, of course, and then you have to see, okay, where is the in fact the lack and where is the surplus. In fact, this is something in human nutrition. Okay, let's say in animal nutrition, this is already done for decades. So in that way, in fact, they are much ahead. And I think in sports, we are very active also with sports nutrition. This is also done already. And I think it's coming now more up in human nutrition, becomes more relevant because more and more people switch into plant-based diet. And then, of course, you have to be careful that, at the end of the day, it's not only the amount and the grams of protein what count, but it's, of course, then to have it also, to have the full profile. And of course, you can during the day also mix a lot, but good. Often you see that people, just stick to a certain pattern, and then, of course, it's helpful if it's done. But there can be also other combinations in there, but anyway, in general, quinoa, because on the other hand, there is the surplus of lysine, and that is then, in fact, complementary to cereal. So therefore you see it matches well. One other element is the digestibility. Of course, you have also to watch carefully on the digestibility, and that's with quinoa with 92%. It's still quite a high percentage. So because that is the other factor determining at the end what your PDK's level is.
Hey, fantastic. Thank you very much, Mark, for your great presentation on Green Food 50. Next, I'm going to ask Elliot from Spira to share his screen and his presentation about what they're working on in the exciting protein space.
Sure. Mark, I believe you have to stop sharing your screen in order for me to start sharing. Perfect. There you go. Hi, everybody. So my name is Elliot Roth, and I'm from Spira. Spira creates replacements for petroleum-based dyes and animal proteins in the supply chain using CRISPR-edited algae. We work with a network of farmers all over the world to produce our ingredients at scale and process them in Los Angeles as a means of delivering alternative protein ingredients to tons of waiting customers. So all of you probably by now know the problem. This is why we're here. Animal protein takes years to really create new ingredients. It's pretty dirty to harvest. And then it's also quite expensive. Right now, it's subsidized quite a bit, but it's expensive both for our health and for the environment. We need about 70% more protein by 2050 in order to feed this growing population. And this opportunity is doubling year over year, in fact, even outpacing that. In the next 6 years, the opportunity for plant-based protein is set to double. Now, when we were taking a look at this challenge or this problem, we wanted to find the most productive, the simplest organism as a means of producing plant-based protein. And what we ended up finding out is that spirulina algae has some of the most productivity out of any other protein source. So it is the highest kilograms of protein produced per hectare per season. And what that really entails is that it can outproduce any other protein source, meaning that it is the most cost-effective and the most nutritionally dense. So our spirulina ingredient platform is non-allergenic. It contains all essential amino acids. It's farmed in regions of the globe where it's open environment, these pond systems, non-arable land, super easy to harvest, absorbs CO2. It doubles daily, only requiring salt, air, light, and water to grow, which means that it confers a minimal cost, and it already has FDA GRAS status. So this is what spirulina looks like when it's farmed. It's big open pond systems, raceways, oftentimes in covered greenhouses. And right now, the way that we operate is that we have a contract farming network. This enables us to maintain kind of a low operating expenditure, virtually no capital expenditure, and we are able to scale by signing up more farms into our network. Right now, we're produced over 30 metric tons with a lead time of less than a month shipping. So what this leads directly in developing countries mostly, had thousands of tons of CO2 captured from these algae ponds that are absorbing CO2, and had 65 or more companies by now replace their ingredients, more harmful petroleum and animal proteins, with carbon negative algae ingredients. The way our business model works is that the team focuses on engineering the seed culture, the starting seed stock of algae strains. We then work with these farmers all over the world to contract farm and then process it here in Los Angeles into a protein isolate ingredient, which I'm going to talk about a little bit, and then our kind of flagship product, which is a blue dye. That's a replacement for blue dye #1. And the way that we've actually applied our technology is using CRISPR editing. This means that we can get functional properties in the ingredients, in the algae itself, that are hitherto unknown before. We're able to kind of dynamically change the functionality as well as the taste in ways that make it really beneficial for end consumers and end companies. So this has led to an overwhelming demand for our ingredients. We've had all of these companies sign letters of intent, kind of start working with us on our various products. We've had over 1,000 prospective clients in our funnel, leading to about 33.6 million in projected billable revenue from signed letters of intent. But the issue is we can't really fulfill this demand due to current access to lack of capital on hand. As a small company just getting started, we need venture capital in order to bridge that gap. So the team that makes this happen, myself, I have a background in synthetic biology. I've spent about 12 years working in biotechnology. My co-founder, Pierre, comes to us with 15 years of experience in algae biotechnology, working at the largest research institute for algae in the United States. My COO did a stint at NASA, And my director of business development comes to us with deep experience in the food industry and with experience from IDEO. We're also supported by a who's who of fantastic organizations in biotech and food technology. And we're just getting started. So initially, we're working on a protein texturizer. That's the protein isolate ingredient that I showcased, which is a really good blending agent with other plant-based proteins, as well as our colorant product, Electric Sky. Next year, we'll move into red colorants and then kind of expand from there. So we're seeking $2 million in funding. That really enables us to double down on our technology, set up a pilot plant, and expand our protein isolate ingredient into other markets. This is kind of a picture of our protein isolate ingredient. We want to bring this to market, but we need a certain kind of scale in order to start sending out samples and selling our ingredient. So we're seeking funding as well as customer and partners from this event. If you know of anybody who's seeking a different alternative protein ingredient, please let me know and come grow with us. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much, Elliot. It was really interesting to hear about Spira. A question we received from the audience is, can you elaborate on spirulina protein functional benefits? Since it uses CRISPR tech, I assume that means GMO for European regulation?
Yes. So we're predominantly focused on selling in the US market. In terms of GMO versus gene edited, it's considered a gene edited product, and so it has no questions from the FDA. Our expectation is that we're pursuing the technology and the functional benefits for companies, and the companies that are using our ingredient have additional benefit compared to non-GMO varieties. So our intellectual property covers a number of different things. So we can do non-GMO varieties as well as GMO varieties. We have novel farming techniques, directed evolution techniques, proprietary extraction, and then also ways to enhance these ingredients to figure out new functionalities and new nutritional properties. Spirulina itself has an amino acid profile that's complete amino acid profile. So this is a listing in comparison to some common algae strains as well as egg and soybean. In addition, it has a very high digestibility score. So this is the overall digestibility of spirulina in comparison to a number of other compounds. And then the general composition is relatively high in comparison to other organisms. I mean, spirulina has the highest protein production percentage per growth rate. So it grows the fastest, has the highest protein production, and can be farmed on non-arable land, virtually anywhere in the desert or in sunny environments.
Hey, that was fantastic, Elliot. We have one more question, which I think you could address, is can you talk about the sustainability and how you would label your protein?
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what that question really means. From a sustainable standpoint, I mean, spirulina has some of the best carbon absorbing properties just because as an algae, algae provides 50% of the total oxygen on the earth and forms the majority of our carbon sink. And so in terms of what we're able to offer something that has carbon negativity, especially in reference to our supply chain. So we can absorb tons of CO2 through the production of our alternative protein ingredient. So from a sustainable standpoint, not only are you helping employ farmers in developing countries, you're going about kind of displacing more harmful animal protein ingredients using a spirulina protein isolate. And then you're absorbing tons of CO2 through the growth of spirulina.
Hey, fantastic. Thanks for your great presentation, Elliot.
Oh, here's some additional spirulina protein isolate properties. It has great gelling and texturizing properties, which is our first entrant into the marketplace. So really great for plant-based milk and cheese and meat companies.
All right, great. Well, thanks for your time there, Elliot. Next, we're going to pass the floor to Chris from Better Nature.
Great. Hi, everybody. Let me just get my slide up. There we go. Cool. Yeah. So hi, everyone. I'm the co-founder and head of business development of Better Nature. And simply put, at Better Nature, we make protein the better way. And what that means is that we make protein that's delicious and nutritious, ethical and sustainable, natural and plant-based, and versatile and easy to prepare. So as we all know, last year was really the year that plant-based food burst into the mainstream. However, though you had all these meat alternative companies that are producing really delicious and nutritious food products, they were, somewhat lacking on the cost and health side of things, which are, the two primary factors that are driving this trend towards the increased consumption of plant-based products. So there is this, really interesting sort of cognitive dissonance between what the market's providing and what consumers are actually looking for from meat alternatives. So yes, obviously taste is still the #1 driver for the consumption of plant-based products, but a growing number of consumers are looking for plant-based meat alternatives that are free from artificial ingredients. As I said earlier, despite the fact that modern meat analogs are high in protein, they're versatile and taste great, they oftentimes contain a long laundry list of artificial and ultra-processed ingredients, and they tend to also be quite expensive. However, if you look at old school meat alternatives like tofu and seitan, yes, they're high in protein, but not nearly as versatile and not nearly as delicious as the products that consumers have come to associate meat alternatives with today. The answer, I feel, to this problem is tempeh, which is a fermented food product that originated in Indonesia 300 years ago. It is made by a process known as tempeh fermentation, which basically converts any bean, nut, legume, grain, or seed into a viable meat alternative. The fermentation process increases the protein content of the plant-based substrate by about 22% and decreases the fat content by about 40%. And it also makes the substrate a complete source of protein with carbon emissions 45 times less than that of beef. So tempeh is incredibly versatile. It can be sliced and diced, marinated and cooked in all sorts of different ways. What we're doing here at Better Nature is that we are the world's first food tech company focused on tempeh fermentation and innovation. So to date, in terms of our scientific milestones, we developed a proprietary process that allows us to reduce the fermentation time by about 55%. And we've also made our tempeh the world's richest plant-based source of vitamin B12. But something that we're looking towards is developing whole structured plant-based meat alternative products. So this is actually the first time that I'm showing our prototype in action to the public. So bear in mind, this burger that I'm about to show you is completely natural. It's only made using 4 ingredients. And that is a core USP of all of Better Nature's products. It's incredibly high in protein, it's high in fiber, it's low in fat, and absolutely tastes great. So let me just share this with you. So this is just a short video of our prototype in action. I'm assuming people can see it. So you can see it's only made using 4 ingredients. The reason that it looks the way it does and has the texture that it does is purely from the fermentation process known as tempeh fermentation.
Video, we cannot see that.
Oh, really? Okay. 1 second. Let me stop my screen share and let me share this video with you guys. Okay, great. Can you see it now? Can
Yes.
you see it now? Perfect. Yeah. Sorry about that. So yeah, this burger here is, sorry about the quality. It's, but yeah, it's only made using 4 ingredients, 4 recognizable ingredients that, that you will have in your kitchen. You can actually make this in your kitchen as well. The texture, the flavor, the binding, the texture comes from the fermentation process known as tempeh fermentation. But the process by which we produce it is entirely proprietary. We use our proprietary blend of all natural ingredients and our proprietary starter culture as well. But so that's more of the future of what we're working on. Let me just go back to the slide. But where we are right now is that we've launched in the UK market with a range of 9 products. Since launching in January, we're now listed in over 200 retail locations. Our sales are growing really quickly. We're the best-selling meat-free brand on Amazon, and we've raised about £750,000 to date to really take tempeh into the mainstream. We're starting in your independent health food stores, but we're currently now in negotiations with some of the UK's and the world's largest retailers to bring our products to market there. Why are we starting here in the UK? The UK is probably one of the most exciting marketplaces for plant-based products. Last year, annual meat-free sales exceeded $1 billion. About a third of the UK's population are reducing their meat consumption, and about a quarter of all evening meals last year consumed were plant-based here in the UK. And in terms of the team, I myself graduated from the University of Oxford with a master's in biochemistry. My primary co-founder, Amadeus, has a PhD on tempeh fermentation from the University of Massachusetts Amherst. And yeah, I guess since we've launched, some accolades, we were rated the best of the cohort by the ProVeg Incubator Program based in Berlin. And last year we were invited to pitch at the Good Food Conference by the Good Food Institute. And we were one of 6 startups internationally to do so. So what we're looking for at the moment is about $2 million for our seed round. And with this round, our target milestones are to make our tempeh a complete source of nutrition by increasing its nutritional content through the fermentation process, to become a leading tempeh brand with our current line of products, to launch the Better Burger, which is a more advanced product, hopefully for summer next year, and to establish a pilot manufacturing facility to really take our products and to increase our margins and to truly take tempeh into the mainstream. So thank you very much. We're at Better Nature. If you'd like to find out more, please reach out to me over LinkedIn or send me an email at chris@betternatureFoods.co. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Chris. One of the questions we received is, can you talk about the nutritional value of your product versus regular tempeh and tofu products?
Absolutely. So versus regular tempeh, we can boast about a 25% increase in protein. And the reason why is because we have developed our own proprietary, blend of starter cultures that allow us to improve the nutritional and the sensory profiles of our products. The real shame of the matter is that tempeh, despite the fact it's been around for 300 years, is a very, very poorly understood product. No one's really taken the time and the effort to look behind tempeh and to look at the fermentation process. So we are the world's first company to do so. And as a result of just applying a 21st century scientific sort of lens to an ancient fermentation process, we're able to create much more nutritional and much more delicious products. Nutritious and delicious products.
Hey, thanks for your answer. Another question we have is your current product, the burger, based on soy fermentation?
No. So though our current range, so we do have a retail range we are selling right now, is all primarily based on soy. As I mentioned earlier, tempeh fermentation can be applied to any bean, nut, legume, or grain. So our burger product, we've chosen to make it completely soy-free using, a blend of proprietary substrates.
Hey, great. Thanks for your time, Chris, and your presentation.
All right, thank you.
Next up, we move to California, and we have Darko from MeliBio.
Thank you, Ahmed. Let me pull up the presentation real quick and share the screen. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, let's start. Hi, everyone. My name is Darko Mandic, and I'm a co-founder and CEO of MeliBio from Berkeley, California. Please allow me the next few minutes to take you into the future of honey. Honey is one of the most amazing products that ever existed. Found in Egyptian pyramids, thousands of years old, it was still good to eat thanks to its amazing composition. However, honey is being produced through commercial beekeeping that is, besides being unethical, the latest reports show that it is inefficient, expensive, and unsustainable because of the negative effect of managed honeybees on wild and native bee species. We at MeliBio are looking into science to produce proprietary method for producing honey without bees. Not only that this will be the first vegan honey in the market with the real taste and nutritional profile as in bee-made honey, but our honey comes with a positive impact on wild bees. It's clean and free of any toxic adulterants, and it is price non-volatile, because a lot of people say that they would use more honey if the price would be more affordable. Honey consumption in the US has shown significant growth in the past 2 decades, while the global honey market is estimated to take 14 billion in 2025. And it will be one of the most significant parts of the larger sweeteners market, which will be close to $100 billion. Almost 2/3 of the honey that's sold in the market goes as a component into other products. And that is the market we at MeliBio plan to serve in the first place. We plan to offer food companies honey as an amazing ingredient so that they can rethink their formulas and add the honey inside of them, or if they already have honey, to increase the volume of honey in their product. Since our idea was incepted last year, we came a long way joining the amazing Big Idea Ventures Accelerator program, where we successfully raised our pre-seed round. And the most important milestone is that we produced our prototypes that are indistinguishable from bee-made honey that I will show you after this presentation. We envision to complete our R&D this year, secure LOIs next year, and launch our product into the market in Q3 2021. We are a team of 2 entrepreneurs from different backgrounds. My co-founder, Aaron, is a scientist with a PhD from UC Berkeley. He's also a passionate chef and gardener. He sees the bees every day in his beautiful garden in Berkeley, and he is in love with them. I come from Europe, where I spent 8 years in the honey industry. And last year, I decided to switch being vegan and to move to California and help producing vegan bees and saving the bees. We are lucky to be strategically advised by Dr. Maha Tahiri, and she has 20 years of experience working for the biggest food corporations in the world. In order to launch our product into the market, we need to grow our team bigger. Therefore, we look to raise 1.5 million in our prize seed round. In exchange, we offer you to join us on board to produce honey that's better for humans and better for bees. Thank you very much. And let me show you our prototype. This is from yesterday. So the consistency and looks, I believe it's like honey. The taste is really good. We are getting there. Some improvements are needed, of course, but I think we are really getting there.
Next up in our pitch session, we have Patricia from Orbillion Bio. Patricia, the floor is yours.
Hi, Ahmed. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Let me share my screen here. And let me know if you see my bank data coming up or my presentation, please. Perfect. So hello, everyone. First of all, thanks, Ahmed, and also Geza for having me. It's really a pleasure to be in this session with all the other companies. I'm so impressed with everything you're doing. At Orbillion Bio, so my name is Patricia Bubner. I'm CEO and co-founder of Orbillion Bio. What we do is we enable the cultivated meat space by clearing the most important bottleneck, providing optimized cell lines to other cultivated meat companies. And you know, it's great to see all these plant-based products coming up. But the matter of the fact is 95% of people on this planet eat meat. So to give them the meat that they crave, but at the same time, knowing that this is not sustainable with the way that meat consumption is increasing, we need to find an alternative. Cultivated meat is this alternative where we can reduce animal suffering and the footprint that we have on the environment by producing meat. So why, you may ask, do we not see cultivated meat products yet in the market, even though we know that the technology has been around for several years now? The simple answer is it's hard, and you need a lot of smart people to solve this problem. And the main bottleneck right now is that cell lines of different species are not widely available to all the companies that need them. And that's why we see that the most of the companies only have one product in their pipeline. We want to solve this problem. At Orbillion Bio, we're finding the needle in the cow stack. Just think of it. There are over 7,000 breeds of animals that people like to eat. For example, cows and pigs and chickens and so on. And there are 1 billion cows on this planet. A cow has over 20,000 genes and over 300 trillion cells. So how do we possibly find the cell line that's not only tasty and nutritious, but also grows well in culture? And that's what Orbillion Bio is doing. With our high throughput screening technology, we can radically drive down the cost of cell line development and also do that at a much faster pace. And we combine our high throughput lab on the chip platform with machine learning to further accelerate cell line development and media optimization. So we will be the key cell line supplier by supplying cells from different breeds that are tasty and flavorful and also have faster doubling time, longer proliferation, or are more adept to grow in cell culture, or anything else that our customers really need from these cell lines. And by that, we will enable cultivated meat and a lot of fancy meat products out there that are not necessarily causing animal suffering. So our business model really is to become the key cell line supplier with a standardized platform that makes it easier to go through the regulatory process, but also with a complete farm to table story from the best breeders out there, the best farmers. So that way we can also tackle consumer acceptance. We want to enable other companies in the space and provide the best and optimized cell lines. Since we founded Orbillion Bio last year, we gained tremendous traction. We patented our technology, we built an advisory board and collaborations with farmers, and also we became part of UC Berkeley's Skydeck program, got accepted into both Brink and BIV accelerator programs, which are an amazing support in this space, and made our first hires recently. In the next 2 years, we want to source more cell lines, gain some early customers, and also establish and develop these cell lines using our platform to scale them up and really sell these cell lines and enable other companies. And the team at Orbillion Bio is uniquely qualified to do that. Gabriel and I met during our postdoc at UC Berkeley. I am a chemical engineer and bioprocess engineer, and Gabriel is a synthetic biologist who has a lot of experience in stem cell engineering and also in business development. I went into biopharma where I worked a lot with large scale cell culture manufacturing, and also had my own food systems project before, Look Up the Millet project. And we recently added a tremendous amount of scientific and business development expertise to the team. We're all set up to deliver the next goals. Our advisory board will help us with that. Professor Rauert from UCLA is an expert in how to make marbled meats. Professor Kiesling is an expert in synthetic biology, and Dr. Krogan is a renowned expert with 20 years of experience in bioprocess upscaling. We're currently raising $1 million on safe notes to really hit our next milestones, file more patents, source 20 heirloom cell lines, and gain early customers. Thank you all so much for your attention, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thank you for your great presentation, Patricia. One question that was sent to me was, you addressed it towards the end there, the heirloom cell lines. Are you not going into any more detail about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, people know heirloom tomatoes and how juicy they are. I wouldn't claim that heirloom cows are juicier, but definitely what we know is that cell lines from heritage breeds that have not been optimized for industrial agriculture have a better propensity to, first of all, you know, have a more nutritious meat, speaking lower cholesterol content and so on, without the need for genetic engineering. But also, we know that these farmers have the breed's history. We know their genetics. We know exactly what we're dealing with. And, you know, if we have the opportunity to actually use breeds that are more tasty and healthier, why wouldn't we? Industrial agriculture is not using them because these breeds usually are not amenable to very intensive and close holding of these animals in the conditions that they usually do. So that's why we think the best way is to go to these heritage breeds. And, you know, heritage breeds is something like Wagyu, Mangalitsa, but also there are older Angus breeds. So it's something that's definitely, I think, the future for cultivated meat.
Hey, that sounds really exciting. If the attendees have any more questions for Patricia, please ask them in the Q&A section. And if we have time at the end of the pitch session, we'll go back and ask them. Thank you so much for your presentation, Patricia.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Kai from Multus Media. Kai, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Hamad. Great to be here. And you should be able to see that now. Yes. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Kai, CEO of Multus Media, and we're creating the key ingredient to make cultivated meat affordable and profitable. Now, cultivated meat is the food of the future, and companies are making this because it means we don't have to slaughter millions of animals every year just to meet our growing demand for protein. It's also healthier, requiring no antibiotics, and is grown in a sterile environment without contaminants. But most importantly, cultivated meat is going to be one of the most powerful ways to mitigate the ongoing climate crisis. Growing meat this way reduces up to 87% fewer greenhouse gases than conventional meat and uses just a fraction of the land and water. But if this technology is so great, then why can't we buy it already? This is the question that we were asking ourselves back in early 2019, and to answer it, we began our research on how cultivated meat is actually grown. To make this meat, you need three key components. First, you take a small sample of animal stem cells from a healthy animal, then a growth medium provides all the protein, sugars, fats, and salts that are used to support cell growth. And finally, we use bioreactors then to grow meat cells, just like we already do with yeast cells when brewing beer. And what we found was that the key challenge holding back this entire industry is the cost of feeding these cells, where over 80% of production costs come from the growth media alone. Current solutions were just never designed for the food industry, and traditionally, animal-derived blood serum is used in biomedical research to grow cells, but this goes totally against the ethical sustainability aspirations of the cultivated meat industry. So what we've created is an animal-free replacement for serum that is designed for the cultivated meat industry specifically. To be a true serum replacement, we're testing thousands of different growth media recipes to achieve consistent high performance across multiple cell lines. Our proprietary yeast strains produce key protein components in a way that could be scaled to meet large demand, as already established by the brewing and biopharmaceutical industries. And through using our core protein engineering platform, we're also enhancing the performance characteristics of these key proteins to tailor them for large-scale cultivated meat production. And this will reduce their effective cost and make our growth media the go-to media for the cultivated meat industry. Our first product, Proliferum M, is designed for mammalian cell growth and will be shipping samples to our customers by the end of the year. So how does this fit into the big picture? The global meat market is worth well over $1 trillion and is only growing. An analysis by A.T. Kearney predicts that by 2040, cultivated meat will make up 35% of the meat market. But even though cultivated meat isn't available on the market today, there's a growing demand for growth media as companies are now scaling their production. The growth media market will be worth over $200 million in value by 2024 and grow to almost $25 billion by 2030. So there's a clear opportunity here to be a first mover in this space. We can capitalize on a lower price sensitivity of high-end restaurants while we increase our scale and broaden our product offerings. So there are about 40 companies now making cultivated meat, with about 22 of them being our target customers for Proliferum M. And since 2014, investments in these companies have been more than tripling every year. Of these companies, we've been in contact with well over a half, and through our website received over 30 sample reservations for Proliferum M. Our business model is straightforward. We'll have a catalogue of serum replacements across mammalian, avian, and fish cells to support all the different processes of production, from cell growth right through to differentiation into fat and muscle tissue. We also have the option to license our proprietary protein ingredients and offer additional growth media optimization services for companies that might want to extend beyond our core product offerings. Currently, our focus is on performance, but by moving towards food-grade materials and using the economies of scale, we're confident that we can sell our growth media for less than $1 per litre while maintaining profitability. And here's the team to make it happen. As CEO, I'm engaging with customers every day to achieve the best product market fit while selecting key partners to ensure our internal results are translating to performance on our customer's side. Reka, who has a background in synthetic biology and stem cell biology, also has experience as head of European operations at a wellness company. And she is making sure that we operate efficiently in the day-to-day and on meeting our target milestones. Kevin has a background in software engineering and machine learning, and as CTO, he's overlooking our research and development to ensure that we're creating the best products for our customers. And he has personally built the protein engineering and design of experiment platforms that we're using. By the end of September, we'll present our first minimal viable product in the form of Proliferum M and demonstrate product market fit with our first paying customers. We're opening a $1.5 million seed round at the end of 2020, and this will be used to develop a complete solution for mammalian and avian cells that will help bring the first cultivated meat products to the world. So if you want to help us revolutionize meat production, get in touch, and we'd love to hear from you.
Hey, fantastic. Thank you, Kai, for that presentation about Multus Media. A question I was sent focused around the application of a company like Multus Media focusing on cell culture serum, and how would that apply to different companies? Would they all need something similar?
Sure. So we're really targeting this element of universality that we see with traditional animal-based serum, and that's the way we're doing that is actually optimizing for performance across multiple cell lines at once. So it's really the benefit of having this kind of off-the-shelf product is that we can have one product that would service a number of companies that can then be scaled up.
Hey, that's great. Thank you, Kai, for your presentation about Multus Media.
Okay.
Next, I'm passing the floor to Nicholas from Gourmey. Nicholas, the floor is yours.
Hi, thanks. Sharing my screen here, hope everything works. So hello everyone, very happy to be on stage and tell you more about our journey at Gourmey. So just last year, on this day that you see on the slide, on this very day, the city of New York took quite a bold decision against a very famous French delicacy. And I'm sure, well, you can easily guess, I'm talking about foie gras. So New York on that day decided to simply ban and prohibit foie gras, prohibit this delicacy because of this. So, well, this is called force feeding, and I had to blur the image, obviously, because this is not very pleasant to watch. But this is how foie gras is produced all around the globe. In fact, more than $2 billion of this so-called delicacy are sold on the market every single year. And it's massive, not only in France and in Spain, as we Europeans, but also in Japan, and it's rapidly growing in China. So the context here is that we have a growing and high margin market with decreasing supply as more and more countries are banning production for ethical reasons, which are good reasons, obviously. As of now, 17 countries have banned the production of foie gras. So, well, just imagine if we could come up with a cruelty-free alternative that is as delicious as the obsolete and controversial version. This is exactly what we do. My name is Nicholas. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Gourmey, and we are developing the first feel-good foie gras by harvesting duck cells instead of force-feeding live birds. So yeah, we are a cell-based meat company. With this first product, our goal is really to kind of untangle the delicacy from controversy, so chefs all around the world can keep telling, stories about innovation, about impact, and us as food lovers, we can also keep eating delicious food. So how does it work in a nutshell? So as I said, we cultivate cells. So we take a few cells from a duck egg like this one, like the one you see on the slide. We give these cells the best feed and the best environment so they can multiply and multiply again. And we give the cells good, healthy, plant-based fats to replicate the effect of force feeding at the cell level, obviously without any cruelty. And then we eventually use food science techniques to give the cells the right shape and texture. So now if we take a simple step back, we at Gourmey have a very unique take on the three main challenges the cell-based meat industry is facing. Number one, scale. I'm sure you're all familiar with that challenge. We are bypassing scaffolding, which is one of the main bottlenecks for any cell-based meat company. Not going to be too technical here, but that's really one of the core issues. Number two, cost. Many cell-based meat companies, and we call them growth factors. And number three, how to make a delicious product. Well, we leverage state-of-the-art food science and formulation know-hows to really unleash the full potential of the cells that we grow and give them the best texture, although we are not using scaffolding. Well, you can see here one of our early foie gras prototypes, and we keep iterating and it keeps getting better and bigger. And we actually have already managed to replicate the very unique, compact and buttery texture that is so unique and so specific to foie gras. But now hold on, foie gras is only the very beginning of our journey. In fact, we want to obviously maximize our impact and really update the way meat is consumed globally. So we are a self-production platform around duck cells and chicken cells that will first give birth to our feel-good foie gras, but shortly followed by other poultry meat products, leveraging economies of scale, obviously. So our feel-good chicken and feel-good duck products, we will be using to formulate them ourselves as the key ingredient to match and even go beyond meat lovers' expectations. So I'm talking here about hybrid products, where we'll be fusing the best of the two worlds. So the inimitable properties of cultured animal proteins, so real animal proteins, and also the compelling attributes of plant-based ingredients, because plants are also great at making good food products. And Gourmey is very well positioned to dominate that hybrid category and take plant-based meat into the next level using our real duck and chicken animal proteins. Well, we started 10 months ago only, and Gourmey is now a team of 12 people. We are based in Paris, in France. And this team includes an amazing group of highly skilled scientists and experts, whether it's in biotech, in food science, or in marketing, from leading companies such as L'Oréal, Nestlé, or even Aleph Farms. We are also fortunate that our initial traction has been validated, since we closed a first round of more than 2 million euros from leading investors like Big Idea Ventures, for instance, as well as also, and we're very proud of that, public institutions like the European Commission or the French government. And talking to our investor friends here, well, we currently have a safe note open that created quite some excitement, and we are very thankful for that. And it's already 70% subscribed, and we'll also be raising our next round of funding by the end of the year. So please reach out to me. Here is my email, and we will also be available at our booth tonight European time, and tomorrow. Thank you very much.